Good evening, everyone. Good evening to everyone who's joined from Australia. Afternoon to people joining from India, and good morning from the other parts of the world. First, a small synopsis on what we discussed in last class. So, last class, the Murli was from 26th November 1994. I would start the synopsis with the statement, real gold can mold itself. The topic of the Murli was power of transformation. Power of transformation is essential for the test that comes in Brahman life. Uh, Tests are needed to see how much have we transformed. So test is an essential part of Brahman life. We should have it, and it shows us how far have we reached, how much have we transformed. And what if there is an understanding of the transformation, but there are still impurities. So lack of transformation of form is the reason why there is an understanding of the transformation. However, there's still some impurities present. What is our form? Our form is soul, and soul is being immortal. Thank you. Now over to sister.
Shanti. Let's spend a few minutes of awareness, few minutes in complete awakening. In this awakened state, it is as if someone has stopped dreaming, completely out of the dream world, and discovers the reality, which is absolutely different from the dream world. So here, the invisible observer, the invisible guest, wakes up, opens the third eye of knowledge, with this third eye of knowledge, the guest can see and engage with his own home. He is out of the guest world and he is now in his home, true home, the world of light, personality of invisible prince has emerged. This world of light, this is the home of God. This is home for the family of God. The entire family of God they are points of light. Each one is a point of light. And the personality is of a prince. Prince is never a beggar. Prince is never confused about his identity, his rights. Invisible prince is conscious and aware of being a prince. Each point of light is free from any kind of blame. They are innocent, innocent and royal. Royalty is when there is no begging, there is no slavery, there is light all around, using the power of concentration. Concentrating on this element of light. Very soothing, gentle red color. Using the divine intellect, using this third eye of knowledge. Point of light, the invisible prince. Sees this red color, red light all around. Supreme friend of the prince, who is also a point of light, is also present here. There is a continuous exchange of light. There is a continuous exchange of love and respect between the soul and the Supreme Being. Invisible Prince is very comfortable being a point of light, very comfortable in being in the company of the Supreme Point. Thank you and Om Shanti. So it was nice listening to the revision. And last time what we studied in the Murli was transforming the form of who we are, how we see ourselves, what do we believe ourselves to be. So that was nice. This is the home. And that this is the stage where the drama is happening, is taking place. And so now with knowledge, you also know that the soul is passing through this drama. It's passing by, and within this drama there are many scenes. And so these scenes are like, it's like a slide. Each scene is like a slide, and the soul is passing through many different slides, variety kinds of slides. And to have any value or importance being given to any slide, this is what Baba says is waste. It is the leakage. So any value, just it is only essential for us to know to treat a scene just like a scene, nothing more. And if it is given any value, then it is waste and it leaks the power of the souls. So the power is lost. So this image, everyone needs to draw this image and keep it in front of us, because this image of the home and the theater, drama with its scenes, this is a constant reminder. This needs to be reminded all the time. Even now, as the scene, we have one of the scenes now. So someone can be, somebody is talking and somebody is listening. But awakening, being awake means the soul is conscious, and the personality of a prince is awakened. Even now, personality of a prince is reflected. So roles can be playing, but this real prince, this the soul, invisible soul, has to remain conscious. So this is the awareness. This is the awareness that keeps the prince conscious and also beyond. So we will start with one of the Murlis, uh, which is on the power to stop waste. So in this Murli, Baba is saying, if you win against the wasteful, wasteful thoughts or time or energy, if you win against wasteful, you will become number one. So you come into the, because this is a study, and in the study, there are, different lessons. Here we don't have many lessons, but only one lesson to be, the soul, to be a point. And based on how well each one is studying, applying the knowledge, there is also results. Finally, there are results. And in those results, it is revealed that who is, first division or second division or third. And this revelation is not, it is of, just few seconds. And when the drama is about to end, this will be revealed who are in the first division, second and third. But this also becomes a state of being for the whole cycle. When the soul comes back into the drama, it will get the type of scenes. So let's say there are three category of scenes. One is the first division category of scenes of life, and second division category and third division. So whatever, whichever we make ourselves deserving of, we deserve those sort of scenes. So the ones who come in the first division, they put themselves in the position of seeing, witnessing different scenes of life than those of second division and third division. So first division means completely, winning over waste, winning over Ravan. And once you win over Ravan, then the scenes, that you are deserving of for thousands of years, they are, for a long time, they are scenes of heavenly scenes, like very divine, very um, nice, we will just in ordinary language, we'll say nice set of scenes. And second, third, it's different. So we are not concerned with second and third, but more with the first division. So Baba says, if you win against the wasteful, you will become number one. If you do not win against the wasteful, you will not become number one. Even now, the account of wastefulness is not finished. For some, it is in their thoughts, for some, it is in their words, and for some, it is in their relationships and connections. The account has not fully finished. That is why it still emerges now and then. So, the account of waste. Account of waste, this is in the department of Ravan. So the bigger Ravan, bigger head of Ravan, which is vices, all the false identities based on the role and the drama, all of these are, all of this makes up Ravan. And the bigger Ravan is, the bigger this account of the waste is. And for waste, this account of waste means that everything in this dream world, everything in the real world is given value, and everything which is in the real world, this is not acknowledged. So waste is real, being too obsessed with the real world. So the relations at the level of real, the scenes, possessions, everything in the drama world, whenever that is given, there is obsession. Behind that obsession, it is Ravan, all the vices and the false identities. So this account of wastefulness, for some it is in their thoughts, for some it is through relationships, connections, for some through words, and every time this account of waste is emerged, it eventually feeds, the Ravan. It feeds false identities. It feeds all the unconscious, ideas that we have. It feeds all that is, superficial, the ideas that we have made about ourselves. It feeds the ego. In simple language, it feeds the ego. So Baba is saying that this keeps emerging now and then. This account of ego waste keeps emerging now and then. The aim will definitely make you reach your destination. The moment you tell wasteful things to stop, they should stop. When you have the power to stop, the stock of old accounts will finish. So when you have the power to stop, power is required to stop waste. And every time waste is stopped, ego is not fed, ego is starved. And every time ego is starved, then Baba says that all these old accounts, they will finish. All the waste accounts are also old accounts. So old ways of thinking, old habits of, being, old patterns, all this will stop. Yeah? All this will dissolve when you use power to stop the waste. When you have the power to stop, the stock of old accounts will finish. You should have that much power. You have godly success. What can godly success not attain? The moment you think stop, you put a stop on it, stop to it. So you have godly success. Godly success means within our minds. This is our mind, and on one side there is truth, and on the other side there is ego, and there is a constant fight between the two. So godly success means truth is winning. Within me, truth is winning. We have the power to choose our thoughts. We have the treasure of thoughts. We can utilize thoughts to think, you know, make our thinking aligned with the truth, or continue with the old habit of using thoughts to feed ego. So this is the constant fight within the mind. And Baba says you have godly success, you know the truth, and you have, once you value the truth, then your thoughts will align with the truth. What can godly success not attain? Godly success means God is main attribute of God. Central part of God is that He is truth. So every time truth wins, this is the godly success. The moment you think stop, you put a stop to it. Do you have that much power? Or is it that even after you say stop, it takes 1 or 2 days, 1 hour or 10 hours to stop? So Baba says stop means stop. So if we tell our mind to stop, to stop thoughts that are feeding or that are, favoring role consciousness, whatever role we are playing, position. So thoughts that are based on ego, they will always defend. They will always be defending our position. They'll be justifying internally, justifying role consciousness, position, all the attachments, justifying all this. So when now we understand, we can discriminate that this is all ego, this is all thoughts based on the role, position. I, the letter I is used in for everything that is in the real world, in the drama world, for the character. Then this is all waste. And Baba is saying that you understand this, you discriminate. So when you say stop, you stop. Stopping means now, stopping means putting a stop to ego-based thoughts, but using thoughts to give value to truth. Thoughts aligned with truth. So once we stop thinking about certain, you transform your thinking. Stop means to transform, actually. Complete stop, complete stop on thinking of the drama, of the scenes, but using all the thoughts to make the angel, conscious, and keeping it conscious. The soul is conscious. So this is the Murli on power to stop the waste. So this Murli is from 31st of December 1992, and entire focus, entire emphasis is on putting a stop to all that is waste. Anything that is waste is useful for Ravan. We have to understand anything that is waste, wasting time, wasting, time, ego-based thoughts. Ego-based means made based on the role, the position, anything to do with the drama world. So all of this is waste, and anything that is waste is very useful for Ravan. It feeds all the ego and attachments within us. So for next time, it's like more trouble for next time. So any questions or comments here?
We have a question. How focusing on slide causes leakage?
Focusing on slide means focusing on scenes, and scenes, for every scene, if there is lot of there is obsession, we can't stop thinking about a certain scene, then it is feeding the Ravan, as we discussed. Because anything that is feeding the Ravan is leakage. Any other questions or comments?
Checking off consciousness many times by asking who I am. That's just a comment.
Mm. Mm. So everyone can, share one by one on what is the practice that they do on a daily basis. What is your spiritual um, practice to use the divine intellect? What do you do daily in that direction? So each one can share. So it's nice to share the practices because it helps, the entire gathering. You want to start? What do you do? What is the practice? Like I would say regularly, irregular. Regularly, regular. Yeah. Irregular. Irregular. Yeah. Regularly, irregular. Right. I try at least like weekly, but try. But otherwise, like internal practice with anything. Mm-hmm. Sometimes. Anyone else? So each one has the opportunity to share.
Someone's replied, meditation and reminding myself I am a peaceful soul.
So soul's vision, soul-based vision is to focus and realize that I am a peaceful being. If our vision is ego-based, then we can't help but think how chaotic this world is, and the world is chaotic, but to identify myself with all the chaos. So soul-based vision is to really focus solely on being a soul that is beyond. The one who is beyond is peaceful. Are there any other comments?
Yeah. Um, Keep the picture of my real home, family, and the physical box and line of ignorance up front. The next one is coming out of the story again and again. And there's one more. I practice to identify my real me with Baba, not with the characters of drama. There's a question. Should I?
Yes, sir.
Could you share day-to-day example of waste and solutions? That's a general question someone has asked.
What's that? Waste and?
Could you share day-to-day examples of waste and solutions, like maybe general waste which people get and what's the solution to it?
Um, any waste is a huge waste in spiritual context. Waste is the biggest you know problem. So any waste, as little as we'd like it to be, but it's still very significant. Waste is the biggest um, problem for any spiritual effort maker. And day to day, day in and day out, this is the theater. There is the role. This is the role, which is the mask. And behind this role is the soul. So any thought which is I am, based on the role, is all waste. So first is to identify how much waste there is, and secondly, to understand that it is waste. How is it waste? To treat, to approach the role and the mask as just a role. But if there is an obsession behind it and there is a subtle, you know, even while we listen to the Murli, there is all these ideas on, but it's not possible, but this is normal. So all of this is the ego within us, justifying the role, justifying the mask. So there is, this is an obvious fact that every soul is, you know, has got a mask, which is this name and this form, but to be identified with it and to be convinced that I need to keep thinking about it and I need to keep doing this and doing that. This is all, big, huge attachments. And every thinking, thinking which is based on attachment is all waste. So the solution is to understand that as per the drama, we've all got the role, we've all got mass, and as per the drama, it will continue. And so whatever is out of my control, which is starting from this role to every other role, um, we can't obsess over it. And once we put a stop on it, we have to play this game, internally, practicing that whenever I want to stop a pattern of thoughts, and I just decide for a second that I stop thinking about it, and stop. And how do I stop thinking about it? It's it is all based on how convinced I am that this is waste. And this convincing again goes back to who do I feed more? How we say that we have two wolves, fighting with each other, and which one will win. So the one we feed the most will win. So inside of each one, there is the true identity, which is based on this invisible soul, and there are false identities based on the ego, the mask, false identity. And whichever one I am feeding more and I'm convinced that this is normal, whichever, I can be convinced that this is who I am, this is the truth. But for me to be convinced that this is the truth, or I will be convinced that no, I am a mother, no, I am a manager, but no, I have to, so wherever I'm convinced. So if I'm convinced to be this mask, then it is impossible to put a stop on thoughts. It's impossible. It's very hard. But through knowledge, by understanding knowledge, by understanding what the truth is, who am I, getting more clarity on who am I, and being clear on this is a drama, this is a physical world, this entire physical world, this is a show, it's a drama going on. And the more I am clear and the more I use it, use this approach, even right now or playing in any other scene, when I approach the scene as a scene, I approach, my own role as just a role. I I see it as a third person. I look at this role as a third person, approach it as a third person. So, you know, using the knowledge makes it easy to put a full stop and to Baba use these words, put a full stop to waste, and you will have a full stock. So when we put a full stop to any scene, then the full stock emerges. So soul is always full, always perfect, always complete. But I'll start to experience that completeness. I start to experience that perfection. We are not just talking about it, we're not just listening about it, but experiencing. that full stop, you know, full stock of contentment, full stock of um, easiness, of ease, of lightness, full stop. No, not a trace of disturbance, not a trace of um, blame, not a trace of chaos, not a trace of worry. So full, carefree. So this is full stop. So only possible when there is a full stop. Only when I put a full stop, there can be full stop. This will emerge. So only one can be ruling my mind at any given second. Only one of the two can be ruling my mind. So the two wolves, so only one will run the show. I decide who will run the show, the truth or ego. So life, mind ruled by ego will be, mind ruled by ego has confusion. Because of confusion, there will be insecurity in some form or the other while playing one role of the or the other, insecurity, fear, worry. This is all, presence of all this and intensity of all this shows how's who is running the show. Who is running the show? So whenever we create time, we create moments, meditation. This is an opportunity to completely let the truth, rule the mind and run the show, even if it's for 5 minutes. But those 5 minutes are in complete clarity. They are in complete, security, being completely, experiencing that I am beyond harm, carefree, light. So 5 minutes of emerging this side is feeding the right wolf, feeding truth. And every time I'm able to emerge this for 5 minutes without any mixture, it can't be that 4 minutes, but then 1 minute of confusion. 5 minutes of complete clarity, doing this multiple times, as much as possible, as much as I can, play with these ideas for as long as possible, then this entire, side becomes weak, loses its power. And because this is weak, I can put a stop on it anytime. And I live my life through this, and I live my life in these experiences of full stop, being full. Life is witnessed, the drama is witnessed through this state. This is the choice that each one has. From which state we are approaching the scenes of life, worry or carefree, fear or beyond harm. This is the choice, security or insecurity, clarity or confusion. And everything begins with, confusion or clarity. So this is, if I get this step right, then, automatically this is followed. If I get the first step wrong and I'm confused about who I am, then everything else that follows will be a consequence of that confusion. So any questions? Any comments?
There are some comments. So the first one is, more I'm practicing my truth, more difficult scenes are coming, and I do get sunk in sometimes, but then again, come in truth. I do get scared of scenes at times, but then again, practice and it helps. The second one is always focusing on real me, not role, because it changes so fast during conversation. Then it's The next one is for last 2 days, I see myself as spectator of the role. I'm playing in the company of Baba as two Bindus. It was without mixturity, complete separation from role as it is somebody and I'm not bothered what it is in role while playing and what others respond or react to. Then the two more. To stop cyclic pattern, I visit my real home, Paramdham. Keep reminding myself that the present scene as well as the next scene is also fixed and all that is going on is drama. I am an actor and participating in all these scenes. The next is reminding self about the various names that Baba calls out while referring the physical drama world like Jhutkhand, artificial old world. And yeah, somebody's just said, I'll try this to whatever was shared in the class. I think it will be wonderful when we are able to do that. Yeah. There's one last question, sister. My Amrit Vela fluctuates, and a lot of times I don't get feeling of combined form of me and Baba. Why is that so?
Mm.
Uh,
Aim is aim. Destination is to completely be in this, these this experience of security, beyond harm. Um, the more we do it in, Amrit Vela or the early morning of hours are a complete result of how I spent my time in the waking hours. If in my waking hours I am not putting effort in remaining conscious, then as we said, Amrit Vela is only a result. Hmm? What happens in the morning hours is only a result of how I've spent my conscious waking hours. So that is, that is actually, um, yeah, more like a result. And if one is determined, um, then in the morning you can reverse, you can you can reverse the pattern, you can reverse the situation and should be very determined in practicing accurately. So once you practice accurately in the morning, then the whole day follows up according to that, and that becomes a cycle. But ultimately, we have to start somewhere, either start with accurate practice during the day or in the morning. So one or the other, wherever you start, there will be instant results. Instant result. If I start, accurate practice now and I start with this approach now, this will have an instant effect now and also next morning. And the next morning, if I start accurate practice, it will have instant results. So why is that so? I have to ask myself. Why is that? Why are there fluctuations? I have to ask myself. Yeah, how am I practicing? Why is the result not as I want it to be? So seed is always body consciousness. Seed is always ego. So we have to ask, check ourselves. Any final thoughts?
there's a question and a comment, so I'll just read the comment first. Somebody said, had wonderful Amrit Vela today, guided by your commentary. Thanks. And there's a question. When I'm in my truth, I feel the scenes in past or present hold no value, but this is striking other parts hard. There's a constant pressure that I'm doing wrong, and this comes from Brahmins. Can I completely ignore this? This affects me.
All pressure is always self-created. It is never, no one can create pressure for me, just like no one can create stress. It is all self-created. So, one or the other identities that is creating pressure, that is taking those So any, any form of, Ravan, till it's, we have to see, check that when there are identities, then they take scenes in a certain way and they perceive everything in a certain way. Um, Challenges or a difficult situation can feel like a test paper for one person, it can feel like an opportunity to the other, and it all, all my perceptions, if someone is getting disturbed, or it's all about coming back to clarity. Yeah, coming back to clarity. If I'm clear that one is waking up and one is conscious, there are obvious consequences of that, which is not always pleasant, because Ravan, one way or the other, he's being shaken. So Ravan here as well, and Ravan in others as well. So this is a very clear, there is a clear, you know, path to whatever we are doing. There's a natural progression. So once, if we talk about, if we keep the picture of, Brahma in front of us, in our spiritual journey, or any effort maker, ideally Brahma, but if you have any um, a good company, then you can see that they are doing the efforts, but there are always challenges. So challenges are very obvious part of, the practice, and it doesn't matter where it is coming from. It, it's we can't discriminate between Brahmins and non-Brahmins. It can come from anywhere. But if I'm getting confused seeing those challenges, then there's something to check within me, because there is not full confidence in truth. There is not full grasp of truth. There is some confusion, because of which I'm also getting a bit fluctuated seeing those test papers. So if I'm very firm in truth, then you take test papers. Silent, there's a silent knowing that I'm doing something right. Yeah? And when there is that silent knowing, there is, yeah, this question of, this question will also not arise, that whether I should ignore or not ignore. So there is some conflict internally, because of which this question is arising. So if one is, fully confident in truth and very stable in truth, then these are natural progressions, natural progression of how things unfold externally. But internal, full stop. Internally, there is full confidence in experience. Experience gives us that confidence. Experience gives us um, that real self-respect. And there can be a lot of test paper outside, but if I'm experiencing, bliss for a minute, then nothing can really shake me. That is as today Baba said, godly success. It's such a huge success, and you feel it, and others can see it. It's magic. It's it's beyond words. If I am experiencing with accurate practice, if I experience, you see, you understand the game. You understand that how the madness of ego is um, continuing, and you're not bothered by it. You can very well see the games. So check if there is, clean position of the self. Whenever we start the practice, is there cleanliness in my practice of who I am? So check that. If that is there, you get results, experiences. With experiences, you can see many. This is a world ruled by Ravan, and every mind ruled by Ravan. And if I go against the flow, there is craziness of Ravan, madness. So when you understand you can understand a mad person for a mad, madness as madness, then there is no problem. You can laugh at the whole situation. No challenge feels intense. It will feel more amusing. Right practice, experiences, X number of challenges feels amusing. They feel funny. They feel like, you know, not at all intense. So if situations are, seeming a bit intense, then again I have to check my position, how clean it is. How clean is the positioning of I, I, the invisible soul. So with practice, less intensity. Drama holds less intensity, less seriousness based on the drama. This is the final thought. And for the next 1 week, we practice this, at least once every day to anything that I'm thinking. Anything. It can be as simple as I have to um, you know, eat this and eat that, cooking this, cooking that. Put a full stop. Any given minute during the day, just telling the mind, practicing the mind, put a complete full stop. No thoughts about it. And for me to be able to have no thoughts about something, I have to have something very interesting and something that holds value. And my mind should also be convinced that this holds value. So develop more interest in knowledge, developing more value of knowledge. Um, you know, interest means I'm listening to knowledge, but valuing knowledge means I take notes, I, reflect on those ideas. I, in solitude, I not only reflect, but see through those ideas. I ask myself questions, try and answer those questions based on what Baba would say. And get it verified or checked if you want. But keeping the mind busy in this will allow me to use this power to put a full stop to any given minute. I can just tell myself, stop, no thoughts about it. And I'm able to just put a full stop. So, yeah, this is the homework once every day, putting a full stop. And then give a grade, give a score to yourself. How well did I do that? Every day for next 7 days, A, B, or C. A being the best. So you put a full stop and see if the mind actually did put a full stop. Give a grade, score yourself A, B, or C, and next week we'll share the results. Everyone has to show their chart. Yeah. So,